Well, hello and how are you? Hey, friends, welcome to the Shen Show. I am your host, Senator Briscoe, coming to you live right here in St. Charles, Missouri. Hey, today's Monday, August 19th, 2024. Got to have a birthday shout out going out to Cindy Specking, Jocelyn Perkins, and Daniel Remiger. So, without further ado, here's a birthday shout out for the three of you. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Jocelyn. Hey, Daniel. Hey, I heard it's your birthday today. Why, that's another year gone away. I hope you're enjoying your special day because, well, it's your happy birthday day today. Day today. It's your happy birthday day today. I said, hey, Daniel. Hey, Jocelyn. Hey, Cindy. Hey, I heard it's your birthday today. Wow, that's another trip around the sun that you made. I hope you're enjoying your special thing because, well, it's your happy birthday day today. Day today. It's your happy birthday day today. Happy birthday to the three of you and many, many more blessed birthdays. All right, how about them Shin Show fans? We got them. We're going to give their shout outs right now. How about Diana Gray, Wendy Dawn, Doug Bellbell, a.k.a. Steve Clary, Savann Murphy Beason, with Ashley Carter Adams, and Wendy Dawn, and Mary Ann Williams Briscoe, a.k.a. my mommy, Rico Murphy, and Jarvis Johnson, and my Pokey pal, Tracy Bernat. Here is a special return poke for you now. All right, alrighty then. Those are the Shin Show friends. Shout outs. Now we're going to do a weather forecast for you. And today's weather forecast is going to be brought to you today by Helping Hands Thrift Store and Foster Care Closet and Diner, located at 416 South Fifth Street, St. Charles, Missouri. Stop on by, get you something good to eat, and peruse the store for all kinds of great specials and deals. They've got them all. I tell you, a lot of times you can get on the bargain bags. Yep, that's right. Sorry about that. Just I think put something down the wrong pipe. And I hope that's not the case. Okay, we'll try that again. Anyway, it's Helping Hands Thrift Store and Foster Care Closet, located at 416 South Fifth Street, St. Charles, Missouri. Don't forget to get on by there, buy you some cool stuff, and munch down on some delicious home cooked meals at the diner. All right, alrighty then. Again, that's Helping Hands Thrift Store and Foster Care Closet and Diner, located at 416 South Fifth Street, St. Charles, Missouri. All right, today we've got a mixture of clouds and sunshine. High temperatures of 86 degrees Fahrenheit with winds north to northeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Went out some time ago there and took a look at the shoe doctor to try to get me a shoe to take some of the pressure off of this, but got a pressure sore built up on it now. So we're working hard to get out of them. I'm going to end up with some black shoes, so black high tops. But that's all right. Hey, they're shoes, right? Some clouds this evening will give way to mainly clear skies overnight. Low temperatures around 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tomorrow, Tuesday, August the 20th, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny skies. High temperatures around 79 degrees Fahrenheit with winds northeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Few clouds from time to time with low temperatures of 58 degrees Fahrenheit and winds east to northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for Wednesday, August the 21st, sunny skies with high temperatures of 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are going to be east at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies overnight, low temperatures of 58 degrees Fahrenheit, and winds east at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then for Thursday, August the 22nd, we've got sunny skies along with a few clouds. High temperatures near 80 degrees Fahrenheit with east and southeast winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for a few clouds overnight, uh, and from sometime low temperatures of 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds east and southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Yep, it looks like we've got a mild August for sure. Friday, August the 23rd. Sunshine and clouds mixed together with high temperatures of 88 degrees Fahrenheit with winds south to southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Few clouds from time to time with low temperatures near 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds south to southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for our fifth and final day of our 5 day forecast for the St. Charles viewing area, Saturday, August the 24th. Intervals of clouds and sunshine with high temperatures around 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies overnight with low temperatures of 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And that, my friends, is your 5 day forecast brought to you today by Helping Hands Thrift Store and Foster Care Closet and Diner, located at 416 South 5th Street. Okie dokie, shamoki. We're gonna do a little tune for you. Something that's been in my head a time or two. I don't know what it is. Can't think of how it goes. Oh, I know. We're gonna do. Did I do trailers the other day? We'll do that. Song there, King of the Road. Trailers for sale in rooms to let 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes. All but 2 hours of a pushing broom. Buys an 8 by 12 4 bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means. King of the road. Third boxcar, midnight train. Destination Bangor, Maine. Old worn out suit and shoes. I don't pay no union dues. I'm smoking old stogies I have found. Short but not too big around. I'm a man of means by no means. King of the road. I know every engineer on every train. All their children and all their names, and every handout in every town, and every light that ain't like when no one's around. Oh, I'm singing trailers for salary, rooms to let 50 cents. No pool, no boat, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes, all but 2 hours of pushing through. Buys an 8 by 12 4 bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means. King of the road. Yep, trailers for sale to rent. Rooms to let 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes. I'm a man about 2 hours of pushing by. Alright, there you go. That didn't need to bop. Roger Miller. How about some Tennessee Ernie Ford? Um, we're gonna try that. Uh, do, 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 do. Song lyrics, Big John. Big John, Big John. Well, every morning at the mine, you could see him arrive. He stood 6'6" and weighed 245. And kind of broad at the shoulders and narrow at the hip. And everybody knew he didn't give no lip to Big John. Big John, a big bad John, Big John. Nobody seemed to know where John called home. He just drifted in town and he stayed all alone. He didn't say much. Eh, he was kind of quiet and shy. And if you spoke at all, you just say hi to Big John. Well, somebody said he came from New Orleans, where he got in a fight over a Cajun queen. And a crushing blow from his huge right hand sent a Louisiana fellow to the promised land. Big John, a big bad John, Big John. Well, there came the day at the bottom of the mine when the timbers cracked and the men started crying. Miners were weeping and praying, and hearts beating fast, and everybody thought that they'd breathe their last, except John. All through the dust and the smoke and the this man-made hell walked a giant of a man that the miners knew well. He grabbed a sagging timber and gave up out with a groan, and like a giant oak tree, he just stood there all alone. Big John, Big John, a Big John, a big bad John. Go to sleep. And with all his strength, he gave a mighty shove, and then the miners yelled, "Hey, there's light up above!" And 20 men scrambled from that would-be grave, and now there's only one left down there to save Big John. Well, with Jackson lumbers and timbers, they started back down from. Then came a rumbling way down in the ground, and then the smoke and gas belched out of that main mine, and everybody knew it was the end of the line for Big John. Big John, a big bad John, Big John. Now they never reopened that worthless pit. They just put a marble stand in front of it. Now these few words are written on that old stand. At the bottom of this pit lies a big, big man. Big John. Big John. A big bad John. Big John. Big John. A big bad John. Okay, there you go. What's the other one that St. Peter, don't you call me, cuz I can't go. Song lyrics, I owe my soul to the company store. 16 tons. That's what it's called. Some people say a man is made out of mud. A poor man's made out of muscle and blood. A muscle and blood and skin and bone. And a mind that's weak and a back that's strong. You load 16 tons and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. Saying, Peter, don't you call me cousin? I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Dun, 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 dun. You load 16 tons and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me cousin? I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. But I was wondering one morning when the sun didn't shine. I picked up my shovel and I walked to the mine. I loaded 16 tons of number 9 coal, and the straw boss said, "Well, bless my soul, you load 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store." I was born one morning, it was drizzling rain. Fighting and trouble are my middle name. I was raised in Can- Canterbury by an old mother lamb, and can't no high tone woman make me walk the line. Well, you load 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I hold my soul to the company store. If you see me a coming, you better step aside. A lot of men didn't, and a lot of men died. One fist of iron, and the other of steel. If the right one don't get you, then the left one will. You load 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. Oh, St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Bow, 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 bow. Well, there's one I haven't heard for a long time. Well, born on a mountaintop in Tennessee, green estate in the land of the free, raised in the woods so deep, knowed every tree. Joked him a bar when he was only 3. Davy, Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier, fought single-handed through the Injun War. The creeks was whipped and the pace was in store. And while he was handling the risky chore, made himself a legend forevermore. Davy, Davy Crockett, the man who knew no fear. When he lost his love, his grief was gall. In his heart, he wanted to leave it all. And lost himself in the forest tall. But he answered instead of when his country called. Davy, Davy Crockett, the choice of the whole frontier. He went off to Congress to serve a spell, fixing up the government, and 'twas all well. Took over Washington, so I heard it tell. They preached up a crack in the Liberty Bell, patched up the crack in the Liberty Bell. Davy, Davy Crockett, seen in his duty clear. When he came home, his politicking done. Why the big Western March had just begun. And so he packed his gear and his trusty gun, and he lit out the gun to follow the sun. Davy, Davy Crockett, a man of the wild frontier. His land is biggest, and his land is best. From the grassy plains to the mountain crest, he's ahead of all and meeting the test. Then following his legends right into the west. Davy, Davy Crockett, a man of the wild frontier. Davy, Davy Crockett, a king of the wild frontier. A king of the wild frontier. Well, we'll try this one, seeing how we like to do it on occasion. I do it for personal reasons. Gosh, I hate that. Oh, Shenandoah, I hear you calling. Oh, you rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to hear you. Uh, I'm bound away across that wide Missouri. Now, Missouri, she's a mighty river. Away, you rolling river. Oh, when she rolls down, her tops will shiver. Oh, hey, I'm bound away across that wide Missouri. Farewell, my dearest, I'm bound to leave you. Away, you rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I'll not deceive you. Away, I'm bound. Away, cross that wide Missouri. All right, there we go. Was a time when my death was over exaggerated. Weren't dead at all, just in recluse. Samuel Clemens. Speaking of that, we might do story time or something from Sam Clemens. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do-do. It's about that time anyway for story time with the kiddos. So we're going to go ahead and kick on over here and look it up, see what we can find. Do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do, ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Ba 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 bum ba 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 bum ba 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 bum ba 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 bum ba ba bum what up bum what up bum what up bum what up bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba dum ba ba bum ba da bum da 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 da. Samuel Clemens, also known as Mark Twain, wrote this compilation in a newspaper about the celebrated jumping frog of Calaveras County. In compliance with the request of a friend of mine who wrote me from the East, I called on good natural, garrulous old Simon Wheeler and inquired after my friend's friend, London's W. Smiley, as requested to do, and I heard unto append the result. I have a lurking suspicion that London's W. Smiley is a myth, and that my friend never knew such a person, and that he only conjured that if I asked old Wheeler about him. Well, I would remind him of his infamous Jim Smiley, and he would go to work and bore me to death with some as exasperating reminiscence of him as long as and, and as tedious as it should be, unless to me, and it was the design. And if it was the design, it was success. It succeeded. Now, I found Simon Wheeler dozing comfortably by the barroom stove on the dilapidated tavern in the decayed mining camp of Angels, and I noticed that he was fat and bald headed and had an expression of waning gentleness and simplicity upon his tranquil countenance. Well, he rose up and gave me a good day. I told him a friend had commissioned me to make some inquiries about a cherished champion of his boyhood named Leonard W. Smiley. Reverend Leonard Leonardus W. Smiley, a young minister of the gospel, who he had heard was at one time a resident of Angel's Camp. I added that if Mr. Wheeler could tell me anything about this Reverend Leonard W. Smiley, I would feel under many, many obligations to him. So Simon Wheeler backed me into a corner, and he blocked me there with his chair, and then sat down and reeled off this monotone narrative, for which the followers follows this paragraph. He never smiled, he never frowned, he never changed his voice from the gentle flowing keys to which he tuned his in, intel sentence, or to which he tuned his initial sentence. He never betrayed the slightest suspicion of enthusiasm, but all through the interminable narrative there ran a vein of impressive earnestness and sincerity, which showed me on plenty that, so as far from his imagining that there was some anything in ridiculous or funny about his story, he regarded it as a really important matter and admired its two heroes, a man of transcendent genius and finesse. And I let him go on his way and never interrupted him once. Reverend Leonard, Reverend Leonard W. Him, Reverend Lee, well, there was a feller here once by the name of Jim Smiley in the winter of 49, or may it have been was the spring of 50. I don't recall exactly. Somehow, though, what makes me think it was one or the other is because I remember the big flume wasn't finished when he first came to the camp. But anyway, he was the curiousest of men about always telling on anything that turned up that you ever seen. If he could get anybody to bet on the other side. And if he couldn't, he'd change sides. And anyway, that suited the other man, would suit him. So anyway, just so he got a bet. Now, he was satisfied, but still, he was lucky, uncommonly lucky. He most always came out a winner. Now he was always ready and line for a chance, and there could be no saltier thing mentioned. But the feller offered to bet on it and take any side you please. As I was just telling you, if there was a horse race, you'd find him flush or you'd find him busted at the end of it. And if there was a dog fight, he'd bet on it. And if there was a cat fight, he'd bet on it. And if there was a chicken fight, he'd bet on it. Why, if there was two birds sitting on a fence, he would bet on which one would fly first. Or if there was a camp meeting, he would be the regular, he would be the their regular to bet on Parson Walker, which he judged to be the best exhorbitor about here, and he was too, and a good one, a man. And if he ever seen a stabling bug start to go anywhere, he would bet you how long it would take him to get to wherever it was he was going to. And if you took him up, then he would follow that Stedler bug to Mexico. But what he would find out where he was bound for and how long it was that it took him to get there. Now, lots of the boys here has seen that Smiley and can tell you about him. Why, it never made no difference to him. He'd bet on anything. The dangest feller, uh, Parsons Walker, wife, laid very sick once for a good while, and it seemed as if they weren't going to save her. But one morning he came in, and Smiley woke uh, up and asked him how she was, and he said she was considerably better. Thank the Lord for his infinite mercy and coming on so smart that would that with the blessings of Providence she'd get well yet. And Smiley, before he thought, says, "Well, I'll never risk two and a half that she don't anyway." Treasure Smiley had a mare the boys called the 15-minute nag, but that was only in fun, you know, because of course she was faster than that, and he used to win money on that horse for all she was so slow and always had this asthma for the distemper or the consumption or something of that kind. They used to drive her 2 or 300 year starts. Oh, yard starts, and then pass her under. Oh, pass her underway. But always the fag end of the race, she'd get excited and desperate like, and come calibrating and striding up and scattering her legs around limber, and sometimes in the air, and sometimes out of one side or amongst the fence, and kicking up more and more dust, and raising more and more racket with her coughing and her sneezing, and bowling her nose. And anyway, fetch up at the stand just about a neck ahead of the near, as you could tell, chipper it down. And he had a little small bull pup that he took, and that to look at him, you'd think he weren't worth a cent. But to sit around and look ornery and lay for a chance to steal something. But as soon as money was up on him, he was a different dog. His underjaw began to stick out like the folk, forecastle of a steamboat, and his teeth would uncover and shine like the furnaces. And a dog might tackle him and bully drag him, but and bite him, but then throw him over his shoulder 2 or 3 times. And Andrew Jackson was there. That was the name of the pup. Andrew Jackson would never let on, but he was satisfied and hadn't expected nothing else, and that the bets began doubling and doubled on the other side all the time till the money was all up. And then all of a sudden, he would grab the other dog just by the joint of his hind leg and to freeze to it and not chaw, and you understand, but only just grip and hang on till they throwed up the sponge. If it was a year, Smiley always came out winner on that pup until he harnessed a dog once that didn't have no hind legs. And because they had been so sawed off in a circular saw incident, and when the thing had gone along far enough and the money was all up and he could come to make a snatch for his pet Holt, he seen in a minute how he'd been imposed on and how the other dog had him in the door, so to speak. And he appeared surprised, and then he looked sort of discouraged like, and didn't try no more to win the fight. And so he got chucked out bad. He gave Smiley a look, as much as to say his heart was broke, and it was his fault for putting up a dog that had no hind legs for him to take a hold of, which was his main dependence in a fight. And when he limped off a piece, and he lay down and he died. It was a good pup, was that Andrew Jackson, and would have made a name for himself had he lived, for the stuff was in him, and he had genius. I know it because he had no opportunities to speak of, and I don't stand to reason that a dog called could make such a fight as he could under them circumstances if he had no talent. It always makes me feel sorry when I think of that last fight of his and thought and the way it turned out. Well, this year Smiley had rat terriers and chicken cocks and tomcats and all of them kinds of things until you couldn't rest and you couldn't fetch nothing for him to beat or to bet on, but he'd match you. He'd catch a frog one day, and he took him home, and he said that he could calculated to execute him or educate him, and so he never done nothing for 3 months, but sat in his backyard, and he learned the frog to jump. And you bet you he did learn him too. He gave him a little punch behind, and the next minute you'd see that frog whirling in the air like a donut. See him turn on one somersault or maybe a couple if he got a good start and came down flat footed and all right like a cat. Now, he got him up so in the matter of catching flies and keeping him in practice so consistent that he'd nail a fly every time as fur as he could see him. Smiley said all a frog wanted was education, and he could do most anything, and I believe him. Why, I've seen him set down Daniel Webster down here on the floor, and Daniel Webster was the name of the frog, and flies, don't uh, sing out flies, Daniel flies. And quicken as you wink, he'd spring straight up and snake a fly off in the counter there and plop down on the floor again, and as solid as a glob of mud. Give me a second, folks. And when it comes to fair and square jumping on a dead leaf, he could get over more ground at one straddle than any animal of his breed that you ever seen. Jumping on a dead leaf was his strong suit. You understand. And when it come to that, Smiley would ante up money on him as long as he had a red. Smiley was monstrous proud of his frog, and well, he might as well be, for fellers that had traveled had and been everywhere all said that he laid over any frog that they had ever seen. Well, Smiley kept the beast in a little lettuce lattice box, and he used to fetch him downtown sometimes and lay for a bet. One day, a feller, a stranger in the camp, he was, come across him and his box, and he says, "What might be that you have got in the box?" And Smiley says, sort of in indifferent like, "It might be a parrot, or it might be a canary, maybe, but it isn't. It's only just a frog." And the feller took it, and he looked at it carefully, and he turned it around this way and that, and he says, so 'tis. Well, what's he good for?" Well, Smiley says, "Easy and careless. But he's good enough for one thing, I should judge. He can outjump any frog in Calaveras County." Well, the feller took the box again and he looked another particular long time. And he gave it back to Smiley and he says, very deliberately, "Well," he says, "I don't see no pinks about that frog, and that's any better than any other frog." "Maybe you don't," said Smiley. "Maybe you understand frogs, and maybe you don't understand them. Maybe you've had experience, and maybe you ain't only an amateur, as it were. Anyways, I've got my opinions, and I'll risk $40 that he can outjump any frog in Calaveras County." And the feller studied a minute, and then he says, kind of sad like, "Well, I'm only a stranger here, and I ain't got no frog, but if I had a frog, I'd bet you." And then Stanley says, "That's all right. That's all right. If you'll hold my box a minute, I'll go get you a frog." And so the feller took the box and he put up his $40 along with Smiley's and he sat down to wait. Now, so he sat there a good while thinking and thinking to himself, and then he got the frog out and pried his mouth open and took a teaspoon and filled him full of quail shot, filled him pretty near up to his chin, and sat him on the floor. Smiley went to the swamp and he slooped around in the mud for a long time, and finally he catched a frog and he fetched him in and he gave him to the feller and says, "Now, if you are ready, set him alongside old Dan, or old Daniel, and with his forepaws just even with Daniel's, I'll give the word." And then he says, "One, two, three, get!" And him and the feller tucked up the frogs from behind, and the new frog hopped off lively. But Dan gave a heave and up, hasted up his shoulders to like a Frenchman. But it weren't no use. He couldn't budge. He was planted as solid as a church, and he could no more stir than if he were anchored out. And Smiley was a good deal surprised, and he was disgusted too, but he didn't have no idea what the matter was, of course. Well, the feller took the money and started away, and when he was going out the door, the shorter Joe, the shorter sort of jerked his thumb over his shoulder. "So, at Daniel and says again, very deliberately, well, he says, I don't see no penance about that frog. That's any better than any other frog. Smiley, he stood scratching his head and looking down at Daniel a long time. And at last he says, I do wonder what in the north their nation that frog throwed off for. I wonder if there ain't something the matter with him. He appears to look mighty baggy somehow, and he catched Daniel up by the nape of the neck and hefted him and says, why, blame my cats if he don't weigh 5 pounds. And he turned him upside down and he blatched out a double handful of shot. And then he saw how it was. And he was the maddest man that he set that frog down and took one after that feller, took out after that feller, but he never catched him. And, well, here Sermon Wheeler heard his name called from the front yard, and he got up to see what was wanted. And turning to me as he moved away, he said, just sit where you are, stranger, and the rest is easy. I ain't going to be gone a second. But by your leave, I did not think that a continuation of this history of the interparsing vagabond Jim Smiley would be likely to afford me much information concerning the Reverend Leonidas West Smiley. And so I started away. At the door, I met the sociable Wheeler returning, and he buttonholed me in and recommenced. Well, this year, Smiley had a yaller one-eyed cow that didn't have no tail, only just a short stump like a banner, and however lacking both time and inclination, I did not wait to hear about the afflicted cow, but I took my leave. And that was that. The famous jumping frog, the celebrated jumping frog of Castaway or Calaveras County. There you go, kiddos. It was long. Sorry I got choked up in the middle. All right, that brings us to our Daily Bread portion of the program. And the Daily Bread portion of the program is going to be brought to you today by the Bible with Briscoe 2024. The Bible with Briscoe 2024 is the daily reading of the Bible to be completed within 1 year. Today's reading in the Bible with Briscoe 2024 will be Psalms 103 through 104 and 1 Corinthians 2. So don't forget to tune into the Bible with Briscoe 2024 for your daily reading of the Bible. All right, Forest Darkroom is today's devotion in the Daily Bread portion of the program. And the scripture and insight to go with that will be 2 Samuel 22, 1 through 7, and 2 Samuel 22, 29 through 30. So here we go. Second Samuel 2, 1 through 7. David's Song of Praise. David sang to the Lord the words of this song when the Lord delivered him from the hands of all his enemies and from the hand of Saul. He said, the Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield and my horn of my salvation. He is my stronghold, my refuge, and my Savior. From a violent people you save me. I called to the Lord, who is worthy of praise, and have been saved from my enemies. The waves of the depth swirled about me. The torrents of the destructions overwhelmed me. The curds of the grove coiled around me, and the snares of death confronted me. And in my distress I called to the Lord. I called out to my God, and from his temple he heard my voice, my cry, and came to his ears. You, Lord, are my lamp. The Lord turns my darkness into light. With your help, I can advance against a troop. With my God, I can scale a wall. And there you have it. That was 2 Samuel 22, 1 through 7, and 29 through 30, which concludes the daily bread portion of the program today, brought to you by the Bible with Briscoe 2024, a daily reading of the Bible to be completed within 1 year. All right, well, you heard it. I lost the voice in the middle of the song. So we're in the middle of the story. So we're going to go ahead and jump on off of here. So goodbye, my friends. It's time to go. I said goodbye, my friends. It's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must go. So goodbye, my friends. Goodbye. Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye. This is Shen, a.k.a. Briscoe saying hello and how are you? Thanks for tuning in to the Shen Show, and as always, God loves you and so do I. So come on back and see us again tomorrow because, we'll be here. And we hope that you are too. Bye-bye.